Welcome to the Nancy Perspective, where every story is a reminder that life's hardest battles often belong to the kindest hearts. Welcome to my first guest of 2026. A human that pretty much encompasses heart in a way that I am grateful to know about. This beautiful human sitting across from me, her name is Debbie Gaudet. Debbie and I, in any other world 10 years ago, probably would never have crossed paths. Would you agree?
I would agree with
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Debbie spent her life in finances, right? Leading and empowering with this beautiful, logical thing called our mind. And I would say it was about 2 years ago we met. Would you say?
2 years
Yeah,
ago.
2 years ago, we settled into Luminary Wellness's 9D breathwork facilitation. It was at the Dartmouth Church, I think it was. There was this woman standing at the front, and I walked over to her. I don't even know how we started talking. Maybe I was talking about Joe Dispenza. I don't know what it was.
Good possibility.
Yeah, but I walked up to her and we started talking, and she said, I went to a Joe Dispenza retreat. I don't know what I did that day, but I might have been shocked.
Yeah, you were shocked.
Yeah, and fascinated. And for my audience that doesn't know him, for myself, he has shifted my entire existence because his healing, his teachings have taken me from a place of the same, my logical mind, into a place of an unknown that I have no words for. Would you agree?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely agree. That's the unknown.
And since 2026 is the year of heart, I felt like you were the perfect first guest for our audience.
I love it.
No pressure. No pressure. Aw.
I'm feeling it.
Yeah. So tell me about you. You went from one side of the other to sitting at a Joe Dispenza. What makes a human make a choice like that?
Well, I started a business in 2019, and it was a neurofeedback business, and I'm sure we'll get into
Yeah,
that.
we will. Absolutely.
But it's kind of training the brain
Yeah.
to self-organize, become familiar with the innate intelligence and the innate ability it has
Yeah.
to heal itself. And as I worked through that process in 2020, I was introduced to Dr. Joe. I don't know if I had his book. I can't remember how I got his book, which is so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just, and so I just started reading.
Which one was that? Do you
Breaking
know
the
it?
Habit of Being
Okay.
Yourself. Oh, yes.
Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself.
Binge watched television for about 8 weeks, and then it was done, and I haven't watched TV since then. And so I just started reading his book and meditating and writing down. And I brought my business I had to leave the location where I was at, and I brought it into home. And then I realized I learned about HeartMath, and he was working with an institution called HeartMath, and it was all about, and his meditations are really all about heart, dropping into your heart, right?
Yeah,
That's kind
absolutely.
of where he starts with just about every, and we know why now.
Yes.
And so he had mentioned he was working with HeartMath. They probably are the leaders in studying the heart and what it's all about.
Yes.
And I don't think we fully realize what it's all about, because it's not the organ and it's not the pump of the blood. It's a whole lot more than that.
Yeah.
It's the soul and the intuition. And so I'm hearing, I have not done any studies or research, but that's kind of where I'm coming from. And so I started working with HeartMath. I think it was January 2021, and I spent a year and a half with my own personal device, and I just realized how closed off it was.
Wow. It's amazing, isn't it?
It was quite amazing.
Yeah. And quite at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? So what did you do with that awareness from that point?
Well, a year and a half I worked with it until I could start to feel, and not the heart organ, the center, the heart center, and the energy and the flow of energy. And then I took the professional course so that I could bring it into my business of neurofeedback.
Wow.
The heart, again, from research, the heart sends more messages to the brain
Yes.
than the brain does down. And it has been my experience and who I've worked with and what the work I had done prior to neurofeedback was that a lot of our hearts are closed off.
Yes.
We weren't allowed to express emotions. It just wasn't welcomed.
That's
and
right.
nor was it generationally. So there's no blame.
Yeah.
No blame there. And
That's
so,
right.
when I realized that, I thought, what more? Let's bring HeartMath into the business.
Yep.
Let's do some HeartMath pre-neurofeedback session, and let's open that up and send those and get coherent.
Yep.
And see how, but more so to create awareness of when we're not coherent, the impact that has on us. And when we're not coherent in the heart is sending more messages to the brain. We can't think our way out of this.
Nope, that's right.
They're the messages that are coming from the heart. So that was really where, saw my first therapist when I was 30 and started to learn about patterns. So
mine was 37.
There you go. Yeah.
And let me tell you, it's been a journey.
She did a journey.
Yeah.
But I do realize, and in her sessions now, I realize she was guiding me toward getting into my emotions, my heart's feelings.
Yeah.
And I wasn't ready for it then. That was not. So
Well, you only get it when you're ready.
when you're ready.
Right? And when you're open enough. I think for myself, over the years, I was always an opinion giver. I'd sit with people and we'd have a discussion and I would apply my opinion. And then I went through a few years of barely able to stand myself. And I reached for these things called opinions. And then I realized that I really should not have been giving my opinion to begin with. Right? Because those are not what we need more than ever. And I think as you, like me, have gone inward, that intelligence within is the most magical thing. And learning to trust that day by day, moment by moment, because we all know we go in and out of that.
Absolutely.
Is a constant awareness and gift.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I want to come back to Joe Dispenza because his work transformed my life, and it sounds like it did for you. Maybe my audience doesn't know him. What can we talk about with him? Because I have to say, if there's one man that someday I would like to meet, it is him.
Yeah.
So tell me what of his work made you wake up and what that retreat did for you. Can we talk about both of those?
I would say that because I was an analytical individual, I was into numbers and finances, and that when he spoke the science,
Yes,
it resonated with
me too.
But as he spoke the science and then explained, because there's, whether it's psychology or soul work or science or quantum physics, there's a word that means the same in every language, right, and everything. And so as he spoke that, then. And as he explained how that connected to the next thing, it was just kind of like, and the mysticism and the soul work and the heart work. And then all of a sudden you find yourself getting out of your head a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? Like you just don't have to analyze everything as much. Now, I'm not there yet.
Oh yeah.
You know,
I think we need to say and stop, because none of us will ever be there.
There's probably a balance
But I don't even know that Joe is up there
No.
preaching that he's got his shit together either,
No.
right? And so I'd love to have Joe Dispenza on my podcast someday. But that
we
would
just
be,
put that out there.
Yeah, I'm going to put that into the world.
And your heart magnetizes that. So
well, that's
there you
it.
go.
And so there is what you said, right? The intention and being in the energy of that calls in what is meant to. And I don't know if I want to bring this in, but I think it's an important piece. His work says that if we can call in sickness or we can manifest the sickness, then why can't we unravel the same thing?
Our thoughts can make us sick, and
right?
Our thoughts can make us well.
And that's it.
And because our body, again, only from research and reading and learning, and our cells, we're all energy.
We're all energy.
Electrons and neutrons and protons. We're cells and we're molecules and we're organs, and we're all energy. And our cells are like little antennas. They're waiting for the message from us. And if we tell ourselves we're sick, then we're sick.
Yep.
If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. Yeah. The cells are listening to us. And they
everything.
Say, okay. And it's not personal. It's just the way the universe works. It's the law of attraction, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So that's kind of, so back to Joe, it was just, that was it. There was something that, because I'm sure like you, there's many people I can listen to or you've listened to that just don't necessarily resonate yet.
Yes.
or this year, but he did. And boy, did he catch my attention.
Yeah.
And I dove in. And then I went to his workshop in Mexico in 2023 in June. It was a month after my mother had passed. And I was thinking to myself, how terrible this might sound, but what do I do if I'm right in the middle of this?
Yep.
And I just thought, you go for it, because you've made that decision. Because I had to make that decision in March. So I went, and much like me, I'm all in. I'm a bull in a child. Like that I back down from very little.
Yeah.
Although I do have some fears that are coming up, which was really good because apparently I do back down. My ego would like to think that I don't back down.
I get it.
So the second night, he does that breath work.
Yeah.
And I had been working on the breath work, but had no idea whether it was right or wrong, and whether there's a writer. But he came out on stage and he said, I don't know what you guys were doing, but you weren't doing the breath work. It was just, he was making fun.
Yeah.
And so he brought his staff out on stage, and 4 or 5 or 6 of them showed us. And I thought, And I left that day and went back to that night and went back to my room, and I downloaded he had put out a video of how to do the breath work. And I said, and they're saying there is, you're all in. And so I thought, I'm all in here.
Yeah.
So I started, and I was exhausted because they're early mornings that we start. And I thought, never mind. And so I went at it. And then the next morning, I don't know if it's 6 o'clock we started, it just became a real big blur.
Yeah.
And I said, Debbie, just go for it. Just go. And we started, and it was about a 2-hour meditation. But the breath work, whenever that came in, the energy moved from the lower center. And he had talked about this for so long. And what it does do, and don't let this scare you, it anesthetizes the frontal lobe so that your thinking stops. And that probably was the first time ever in my 50-some years that ever stopped.
Yeah. Wow.
And it just stopped, and my hands tingled and my arms tingled, and I kind of just went. And I couldn't. He continues on, and then you just kind of come to again, and then the next time it kind of was a little less than that time, and so never thought was thrilled, but didn't know what that meant. And came to the last of the meditation, and we were lying down on the floor of just a hotel ballroom, and he said, "Now lay down, let your autonomic nervous system receive the messages," and I did. Well, what hit then was just such a profound cry. Like I had to wonder who that was on the floor. That's how it was, just like a soul cry or a primitive cry. It was a cry that obviously I just wasn't a crier.
Yeah.
And, I had a facilitator on my right or left. I didn't know that. And then a friend that I had met from out west, she was on my right. And I just, I don't even know how long I was there. Wow. But I left behind, I haven't yet quite identified since June of 2023 what I really left behind. All I knew that when I came back, not physically, but putting one foot in front of the other to gather up the pieces and enter back into my life was just a real challenge, and a good one.
Yes.
But a challenge, because nothing of the old life that motivated me was motivating me now. And I'm still,
I know,
still figuring it out.
But I think I love that you shared that moment, because I know that's a big vulnerable moment. And to share that out loud, I appreciate, because that's what the work does. It wakes you up, right? I got goosebumps all down my body. And aren't we so blessed to feel the goosebumps?
Oh, there you go. The feeling piece.
Right? The feeling piece of it. Because I was saying to a friend today, we think we get to a place where things don't affect us. But the reality is life is always going to affect us. It's always going to cause challenge and make our body respond. But isn't it beautiful to feel that?
Yeah.
Because our world is numb.
Yeah.
Our world, it voids those feelings. And in a moment like that you just expressed, I agree. I mean, my work has been similar. I didn't sit in a meditation in his environment, but I did his certifications. And I was saying to you, sat alone on my floor, shaking some nights and releasing some intense emotions that I didn't know what they were, but I was safe enough to feel. And they've transformed my life as well.
Oh my goodness.
It's there's no more story behind them, or it's a different story.
It's a different story.
right? And this doesn't mean the story doesn't creep in.
No.
I think that's the
And
other
a new
piece,
story.
right? It's a different story, but the awareness of it, and I think for me, it's changed how I view myself. That day prompted something in you. So when you came back and you integrated yourself, what was the biggest shift you started to become aware of?
I don't know. I can honestly
Love
tell
that.
you that I just
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
I've listened to a couple of, because I've started with a psychoanalyst with Carl Jung
Yeah.
and Alan Watts, and I've kind of just trying to get a handle on what took place, what could have taken place.
I love that.
And I really, other than I think my give a shit level is lower
Yeah.
than it was. I guess I should have asked before that.
Oh, wait. Fuck is my favorite word here.
True enough, I got a book in front of me, and
there's about 5 fucks all around us here. So you let it out, my love.
So I think that piece shifted. But what I have most challenge with is figuring out creating the new me.
Yeah. Or being open to what the new.
Well, and as Dr. Joe says, you're kind of in the river of the unknown and the river, and you're kind of crossing it, but you haven't gotten to the other side. And it feels like, because my ego would like to tell me that it's taken me a long time to get to the other side, 2.5 years. Yeah. And yet I'm not so sure what side I'm supposed to.
Well, it's funny.
It's not even a side, right? It's just.
Yeah. I identified his work in 2015, really dug into it 2018. And I'm 11 years in, and I don't know that I'm on the other side either.
Yeah.
Right. I think that's this thing, Todd.
That's
it's our brain. I'm pointing to my brain,
yeah.
right? It's that logical side. And I think the gift of the work for myself is watching me no longer try to understand.
Yeah.
It's just accepting the energy and starting to pay attention to that, of what that feels like, right? And starting to work and walk with that.
The acknowledgement and the allowing.
Yeah.
And the feeling, right? It's just not something, instead of picking up our phone.
Yeah.
My phone drives me crazy now.
I know, me too.
There are those moments when I was like, oh, I can't go there. Give me that phone.
Yeah.
Or something along.
Yeah.
But we're a distracted world. And I hope awareness is, and that's what we're all doing. And it comes in different shapes and sizes. And it's never just one thing.
That's
could
right.
be neurofeedback. It could be HeartMath.
Yeah.
Could be Reiki. It could be energy work. But it is energy work.
It's work, and it's energy work. And I think what I love is what you just said, and you named a variety. I talk about a variety in my book. Doesn't matter what you do. It is energy work, but it is the key that unlocks you. And unlocking you is different than me and you.
Yeah.
But I will say this, and maybe I'm wrong. Challenge me if you wish. But Joe Dispenza's meditations and becoming nobody and no one can't not affect you.
Yeah.
Right? They just can't not wake you up to something.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to kind of shift out. And I want to come back to HeartMath, because his work is one thing. It is all about the heart. But what I was mesmerized about myself, and we were talking about this downstairs as we were coming up getting ready, is so Debbie and I saw each other that day about 2 years ago. Yeah. And then we randomly ran into each other at Nicole Cruikshank's, Dr. Nicole Cruikshank's chiropractor office. I'd like to call her doctor, even though she doesn't care. And we had a moment there. And then in November, her and I were both called in by the lovely, it was Lana Grant.
Oh, yeah.
Of Luminary Wellness. I think that's what it's called. Luminary Wellness. I think so. Anyway.
Healing Sisters. But
the Healing Sisters reached out to both of us because we showed up at this breathwork session and we're sitting next to each other, telling each other that she reached out to us. And we both needed it at that time more than ever.
Yeah. The Healing Sisters needed to get together.
The Healing Sisters needed to sit again. And what was interesting about that moment and sitting with you and knowing the work you've done and the work I've done is we were both sitting in a moment where we didn't want to do the work and we didn't want to face it.
No, we didn't want to be there that night.
We didn't. And I remember
something was calling us.
And that something was calling us. And yet we showed up anyway.
Showed up for ourselves.
Right? And I think that's what the works has started for me. No matter how many times I want to sit on the ground and not get up, the work makes me want to get up.
Yeah. Yep.
And it doesn't want me to stop.
No, not when you're on that trajectory. Like just when awareness. I remember saying to my therapist, when is this ever going to stop?
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she said, never.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it just goes and goes.
Because that's our path.
And that's our path.
The awareness to remember.
Yeah. And I want to come back to what you just said. We've got a few minutes left in the part one, but to remember. So you went from logical to this heart intelligence open mindset. So many people are sitting where you were to where you've become. What would you say to them? Why did you choose that?
I think it chose me.
Yeah,
that
gave me shivers.
I returned I had taken a break from home here, and I went to Europe for a month to kind of get away and pull myself together. And when I came back, I met someone I hadn't seen in at least 15 years.
Yeah.
I just arrived that night or the night before when we went out for a bite to eat, my husband and I. And here her husband and her were sitting there, and they invited us. And she had spoken to me about neurofeedback. And the next 3 months was just about researching it. And so then, that much, not a year later, I've got Dr. Joe's book in my hand.
Yeah.
Can't even remember how I got it.
Yeah.
And then I'm doing HeartMath.
Yeah.
I just, but I think I always knew. I'm the youngest of 6.
Yeah.
And there's a feeling, there was always something there. I was searching, and I was conscious of searching for something, and looking to. Yeah, it's just when I look back now, I see.
You see it.
I see, but there's just so many moments, right?
Yeah,
and so I guess the universe kind of just said it like, we're really tired of you. You're not paying attention.
Yeah.
And we're going to just give you that nudge or that shove to move forward. And maybe that was it. And I don't know. I just think it's all beautiful how it unfolded.
Well, I want to take a moment and say and acknowledge that it's funny how similar mine is, because I was being hard hit with the wake-up calls. And the more that you need them, the harder you get hit.
Yeah.
And then when you start to listen and you unravel, it's only when you can look back, you can see all the moments that kind of match up and align. Yeah. And yet, aren't we grateful that we get to go on that journey and be open to what it's led us to? Because so many are sitting today. Every one of us has had a nudge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every one of us has a pull. It's likely back to something in our past as a child, as a moment where you knew you were meant to be something different, but our world has pulled us somewhere else.
Yeah.
And if anything out of this conversation, it's about hearing that voice.
Which is your heart.
Which is your heart and my book and his work and your work.
Yeah. And that's where the healing. That's what they're saying, is that's where the healing's coming from.
Yes.
It's just in the heart. Right. And as soon as we start to acknowledge the feelings and the emotions, they're not running our lives anymore.
That's right.
They're not in the shadows. Because a lot of them we don't want to bring up because we think that it will be somebody different. We won't be somebody that somebody likes. And they call that shadow work.
That's right.
But as long as they linger in the back, in the shadows, they're going to run our lives.
Yeah.
So we gotta, and so just take one step. And I
know
that can really give them but one step. I don't know what step is right for everyone.
No, that's right.
Just listen.
Just
and
listen.
One step and move to the next step. And
I love that.
And you know what? And I'm in a spot right now where I'm just trying to figure out what my next, but I know I need to make a step. And so it doesn't matter how long we're doing this.
That's right.
Right? It's just
being open to take the step.
Move forward and take the step.
I love that. We are at the end of part 1, and I feel like part 2, we are going to continue to crack the heart. And the neurofeedback that you so wonderfully bring to the world. But I think the gift of right now is acknowledging the work you've done and what you now share. And when we choose to do the work and we share with others, it's a different form of service than it is when we just put the work out there or offer a service that we're not doing the work.
Yeah.
So I commend you, because when I share what happened to me when I showed up for HeartMath, I really do believe it was because of the person that was sitting with me as I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
honored to have been
Yeah.
for that.
So thank you for taking the time to do this with me. If there's anything that you got out of this moment, maybe 2026 is the year you crack open your heart, unlock that key, and be open, because there is such magic in that. And Debbie and I will continue the conversation for part 2 to empower you even more. So for now, bye for now. If this podcast resonates with you, it would mean the world to me if you would download my book, Listen to Your Fucking Heart. It's available as an ebook or hard copy on Amazon, and the link is also found in my social media bios. This book shares my perspective and story about hitting rock bottom over and over again and finding myself again. I wrote it with a purpose and a mission to help so many people who are looking for guidance as they try to empower themselves forward.